This is a damn good trailer, but just as exciting as the trailer itself is the behind-the-scenes story that is developing, that's emerging between the eternal war of Disney versus Warner Brothers. It's hilarious. But there's a reason that this trailer debuted today, and nobody expected it today. Everybody expected this to come out with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, it first debuts overseas on April 25th, so everybody thought that this trailer would come out that week. So that's when everybody was looking for it. And they also weren't expecting it this week because Star Wars The Last Jedi's trailer comes out on Friday, and that has to come out on Friday because it's coming out for Star Wars Celebration, which is an event with a fixed date and a panel, etc., etc. So why bring out this trailer the same week? Here's why. The Fate of the Furious. This is clearly going to play in front of The Fate of the Furious. We'll see if Fate of the Furious does as well as everybody's expecting. I think it might underperform, but they're putting trailers in front of it like it's going to be a really big deal. And a lot of the creative choices here, I think, were not only made because they fit the movie. I think they fit the movie. We'll talk about the creative choices in just a moment. But make no mistake, they're also business choices to appeal to the Fate of the Furious crowd. Now, can you think of another recent trailer that was kind of cut to fit with the Fate of the Furious crowd? It's a trailer that everybody's making comparisons to with this one already. And I can tell you, well, I can't tell you, but expect both to play in front of the Fate of the Furious. And I think that Marvel knew that. And because these movies come out just 2 weeks apart, this one will come out first, I think that Marvel, correctly so, did not want to give their competitor a chance to really make a first impression with the fans. I think they wanted to get out there too and start the Sophie's Choice already. Now, not necessarily fans will have to make a Sophie's Choice. Moviegoers won't have to make a Sophie's Choice. Last year, there was enough room for Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts, and Rogue One. And they all made a ton of money. And interestingly enough, the finishers were Rogue One in first place, then Fantastic Beasts, and then Doctor Strange in third place. And it'll be interesting to see how these three movies shake out. But I also think another reason to make the comparison to the Justice League trailer is that I think Taika Waititi clearly has taken some inspiration from Zack Snyder. I see very strong parallels here. And I think that's both, I think, complementary to Zack Snyder's work in the genre and that he's done a lot to define it. But it's also, I think, a bit of a wake-up call that, you know, people are coming for Snyder and they're coming for him with some of his own stuff. And that's scary. And I think what's very Snyder-esque about this trailer is the music choice, which I think is amazing. But also, I think the slow motion. When you see Hela versus the Valkyries, we'll talk about that when we see that later on when we do the shot-by-shot portion of this. But that's right out of Snyder's playbook. Right out of Snyder's playbook. Amazing. And, you know, intense use of green screen, slow motion, a painting-esque type of feel. Very 300. Now, with the music, I've seen a number of people say, oh, I don't like the music choice. The music choice is horrible. Well, I think it works really well because it shows the influence that Hela has on Asgard and Thor himself. She just comes in like a bat out of hell, right? And the screaming part of the music is integral. It's really important to the success of the music choice because it's like Hela screaming. She's just so angry and she's just like gonna just tear everything apart and just lay waste to everything before her, like the power. And it's also Thor being like, oh man, this is really tough. Like he's screaming. And the Hulk is screaming. Everyone's having a good scream, right? It's very cathartic. And so that's why I think the music choice is also perfect. Now, I've also seen some Guardians of the Galaxy comparisons. People are saying, I like someone, it was a good shot. Someone said this seems like Guardians of the Galaxy, the B-sides, you know, an old album reference to like the secondary songs that weren't as good on the second side of the album. That's a great burn. But I think that this seems very different to me, actually, than Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that, you know, if you were to ask me intellectually, is there a similarity, I would say, yes, there's an influence. But I think creatively and emotionally, this to me, as I said in my live reaction, feels more like Ant-Man. And that's because I feel that James Gunn does more of a fan fiction approach. It's very irreverent, loose. You know, he's just having fun, playing with stuff. You know, it's almost like the movies sometimes seem almost improvised, right? And, you know, they're driven not by character development and 3-act structure, but by jokes. How do we get to the next joke? How do we get to the next setup? Where this film feels even more so than Ant-Man too, very deliberate, that Taika Waititi has a creative voice. Like, his fingerprints are all over this. And James Gunn's fingerprints are all over his. But again, I feel this feels very structured, incredibly structured. I see influences from other filmmakers beyond James Gunn. As I said, he's got some Gunn, he's got some Snyder. I'm sure he has some other interesting things. He has huge, very strong comic book influences. So all that is at play as well. And then some of you said, well, why is this trailer? Because I said there wasn't enough action in the Justice League trailer. And so a lot of you got very angry with that comment. And some of you asked me, some genuinely, why do you like this when there's really only one action shot at the end of the trailer with Hulk and Thor charging at each other? Well, I'll tell you. This trailer has money shot after money shot after money shot. Hela turning around with her helmet on. It's, Loki with the blades. And they're all very distinct to this movie. I haven't seen them before. I haven't seen them in social media teases. I haven't seen them in Comic-Con footage. They don't look similar to other movies. There's an embarrassment of riches in terms of stills that are clearly just from Thor Ragnarok. So that's important. And also, I'm getting story tease after story tease after story tease. I really can kind of start to see what the movie's about, and I felt that wasn't the case with the Justice League trailer. So that's why, off the bat, I wanted to address some of the concerns and comments that were already taking shape with the live reaction, and so now we can dive into this. All right, let's get started. Now here, this is great. So this seems to me like right out of the comics, and I love this. So this is Thor in chains, and I love this. He drops right into frame. Now this is hell. Okay. At first I wasn't quite sure where he was, but you can see the souls. These they seem like turrets. And they're actually made out of souls, and you can see them also screaming. Screaming, a big part of this, and it just looks spectacular. I think there's a lot of Snyder-esque references in this as well. And I like that he's kind of narrating it. He's like, yeah, you're probably wondering what happened to me. Well, let me tell you. And I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. It's an old school kind of narrative trick, but you don't see it a lot in this genre. So it's both familiar but fresh at the same time. And that's really smart and very clever. I think Taika Waititi is clearly a student of film in general, not just the genre. And that's kind of what Christopher Nolan brought to the table. All right. Now, here's Hela. I think this is probably when she becomes free, because you can see that her suit is repaired later on in the trailer. So she's coming out here. It's all ripped. Now, here she looks a little green Power Ranger, but it's going to go away in just a moment, all right? So that's really cool, all right? Also, they're trying to show up the sexy time, right? So Thor's like, oh, I'll take care of this. Asgard extermination at your service. And then she catches Mjolnir. And that's kind of like a game changer right there for the character and for the movie. We'd all been wondering, where's Mjolnir? So you're like, oh my God, she stopped it. Like, we've spent so many times in the MCU establishing that you can't do that. And she doesn't even chip a nail. Her manicure is a big part of Hela. You'll see another cool shot later. So she stops it, and then look at this. So you're like, what's happening? Oh my God. And then you get a reveal of Hela. And she couldn't look better. She looks so hot and so powerful. I do not blame Thanos for falling head over heels with her. And they've already started to have them hook up in the comics, and we've discussed that this is probably what they're going to do, is that Hela will be who Thanos has a crush on and is sacrificing souls in Avengers Infinity War to win her favor. And she looks like someone who would not only be totally into that, but who would wrap Thanos around her little finger, which can catch Mjolnir, as you can see. And so I think that, instantaneously, Marvel fixes their female problem to some degree. I mean, they're doing pretty well with Black Widow and Scarlet Witch, but they're not at the same level as their male characters. But they fix that, and they fix their villain problem in one shot. That's amazing. That's the power of Cate Blanchett. And I was very happy to see both her and Taika Waititi trending with this trailer. I think that they are the special sauce that's been added to the mix to make this special. So she just looks like everything. And I can tell you that not only will guys love that, this is a character that everyone will love. It's, that men will want to be with her and women will want to be her, and they usually use that to describe male characters, the flip it around. But that's what Cate Blanchett's Hela is. Everyone wants, she's just so amazing. She's just so amazing. It's perfect. Whatever they're paying her. Oh, look at that smile. It's just great. I mean, she gives good villain. If you saw Cinderella, she was the best thing in that movie. And I like this. They've taken so many years off of her. All these actresses get plastic surgery, but by playing up the eyes and doing a paler lip and everything, and this kind of blanched out look for Cate Blanchett, she just she couldn't look better. This, I think, the best she's ever looked. She looks just absolutely fantastic. And you know what? She doesn't care. She's not voguing. She's like, she did a mirror check, I'm sure, and she's like, I look nice. And then she just goes and does her job as an actress creating a character. And it's like, it's everything that you want in a female character from an actress. And this is why you hire. That's why you go for this caliber talent, because this is what she brings to the table. This is going to change her career. All right. And he's like, oh my God. And then she breaks it, and look at this lightning explosion. What a great choice. And it looks like they're not in Asgard when this happens, so I wonder where she breaks free from. All these, the worst things happen in alleys, guys. Don't go in alleys. So this lightning explosion is beautiful, right? So, and I love that that's how Mjolnir would be destroyed. And it too screams out in pain, right? And it's crumpled on the floor. Oh, that's just, it's really strong. That's it. Now there's a visual. That's just amazing. They're going to have to put that back together somehow. Now look at this. Oh, you know, like the music sound effect they always do for that kind of thing with the title, like, you know, like, you know, like everyone who is into this kind of stuff is familiar with that. And so it has like instant, again, nostalgia, yet fresh at the same time. Now I love this because she's checking her manicure. She's doing the old like, oh, did I chip a nail? Oh, yes, there you are. It's so great. She's like, I got to work something else because I got no hair. But who needs hair when you have that helmet? Oh, it's just spectacular. It's everything that you would ever want. Now, this is, I think, a flashback sequence with her fighting the Valkyries. You're going to find out how Valkyrie ends up, you know, on this on Planet Hulk, basically. I forgot the name of the planet off the top of my head. I'm sorry. So she, this is going to probably be like Valkyrie battled Hela, and she's like maybe the only one who survived, and so she went off and, you know, she's done, you know, again, it's a story old as time, but they're putting a fresh twist on it, right? Oh, I failed, I'm going to run off, you know, kind of like Wolverine style when he's doing the cage fighting where they found him at the beginning of the X-Men movies, kind of like that situation. So she's checking her nails, and she's like, oh, okay, I guess it's time to fight. And I love the slow turn, and they had the music come in just beautifully. I mean, this is amazing. This is like some Anna Wintour stuff, you know, like, wow, like that's high fashion right there. Alexander McQueen. It's just spectacular. It's so cool. All right. Now there's Asgard, and I love this too. So now her delivery here is also amazing. And look how fresh this looks. I don't know if this was shot in a soundstage or not, but it looks like daylight is hitting her. And that's really important. It in the wind in her hair. I mean, and you can see that this is clearly her being freed, and she's back and her costume's repairing itself. And she's just so angry, and you can still see the anger. But, you know, I think that you know what it is? There's a whiff of freedom to this shot, right? She's like, I'm free. I'm back out in the open air. The sun is shining on me, and I'm taking Asgard. And I love the way she says it. And Asgard is dead, because of course that's what Hela does. She brings death and destruction. And the way she, look at that, and the way she says it, just like she can hardly get the words out. Her feelings are so hurt. She is everything. It's so amazing. My new favorite character. I'm sorry, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, but I'm now fully Team Hela. So look at this, and then she deploys the sword. I don't know where she was hiding that in her costume. Thank goodness for magic. And it's just so good. And you can see her hand tighten around the sword, like, oh, it's on. It's just so neat. And you're going to see her headdress is going to come back in a moment. So she's going to armor up, and she's going to take on all these soldiers by her lonesome. It's going to be amazing. So they give you a tease of action here. It's just fantastic. Now she just blows out. Look at that. And Thor gets thrown away into the garbage, literally into the garbage. He's in a garbage dump here. And this is very Star Wars, actually, to me. And I wonder what those little things are, if those may be pockets from other dimensions. That's how the garbage gets deposited here. And so these are like some ships that are salvage. They're garbage salvagers. And so that's also another great choice. And yeah, it's very Star Warsy. You know, if he gets pulled into that garbage, I wouldn't be surprised. I have to tell you, I'm not feeling Valkyrie / Kyra. I think she's filling that role here. I'm not feeling her. I think that, you know, I think that Tessa Thompson should have seen what Cate Blanchett was doing and what, you know, Chris Hemsworth is doing and everything. And I think everybody seems to be bringing their A game. And this, you know, I'm not saying she's doing a bad job, but she visually so far, in terms of looks and energy, can't quite compete with her co-stars. That's tough. She isn't as exciting when she's on camera. So, you know, she should have stepped up her game a little bit. It's tough when you're playing someone who's broken inside, but Hugh Jackman's great at it. She should have watched like Wolverine movies and been like, how's he do it? Teach me your ways, Hugh Jackman. Now look at this. So this is a lady battle, Look at that. So this are the Valkyries, and they ride winged horses. And in the comics, they're famous for it. And see, they're fighting Hela. And this is great. This is pure Zack Snyder. This is just like, this is an homage to Zack Snyder. So this is an amazing over-the-shoulder shot with the little, little mini cape, right? And the hair and the sword and these winged Valkyries. It's just so neat. It's just really perfect. It's beautiful. It seems like the stuff of Asgardian mythology. And also some people say they saw some Wonder Woman vibes as well, and I can agree with that. So that's just fantastic. Look at that. Oh, look at the smile on her face. She's just enjoying it. And so she's throwing her sword, and you can see the way that she has the eyes blacked out. It just has them, and it really makes them shine. It's really a neat idea to make them pop. But then also the black lips and the way she uses her teeth. I mean, Cate Blanchett is using everything that she has at her disposal to create an amazing visual. So that's just, it's a little bit like what Angelina Jolie did Maleficent, and there are also similarities there. And how she worked very closely with her hair and makeup team and the cinematographer and the director and the costumers. They all worked as a unit to present the best character possible. And that's really amazing. That's what everybody should be striving to do. And now that's great. That's also very Snyder. Very Snyder. And you can see this battle doesn't go so well for the Valkyries. Or their poor horses. So they're all falling from the sky. And that looks to me even maybe like Tessa Thompson there in the front, I'm not sure. So they literally fell from grace. These are the famed warriors. It's an elite unit of Asgardian warriors. And of course, I've already pieced together some of the story from the Entertainment Weekly interviews, and I did a video on that. There's a link in the video description at the end of this video. That they've become truly a legend to Asgardians, and so Thor only really knows them from their reputation. And he's very excited when he gets to meet one in this movie. But obviously, we're going to find out what really happened. That's fabulous. So they've got him. They're like, this is the barbershop. We're going to cut the hair. It's like the Wizard of Oz twisted. That when they went to the salon at Emerald City? Well, this is the Grandmaster's salon. And it's funny because it reminds me of Harry Styles recently cutting his hair. Everyone's like, not the hair. I'm sure you'll hear screams in the theater. That would be fun when it gets cut off. Look at that. See, I think he's going to cut the ponytail right there. He's like, here we go. And he's like, I'm just going to give an evil look to this lady who's made me lose my locks. And also, I'm sure he's probably like, another Asgardian? What the hell, lady? How could you do this to me? You're a traitor. Which is also old school, Saturday morning cartoon stuff. It's one of your own people working with the bad guys who's a traitor. Fantastic. She doesn't know how bad they really are, who she's working for. Which is from the comic as well with Kyra. She's totally Kyra. So I have to say, I wasn't sure about Jeff Goldblum in this movie, but now that I see the tone of the film and him edited into it, he's perfect. He's really well done. He's going to do a great job playing into the tone that Taika Waititi is trying to do here. And he's a great actor too, so he's not going to cheapen it. So he's like, what did you bring me today? And I don't know why he hasn't, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they're going to do the painting or something. I don't know. Or maybe he's being brought in on a chair for display. It seems like some kind of cool situation there. But anyway, look at this. This November, it's so funny the way these titles come in. I just absolutely love it. They really should have the do-do-do-do-do music when it comes in. It would be awesome, or sound effect. And I like the light coming out from behind the title and like the explosion of rock, right? It's really neat. Or maybe Hela energy. Now, one of you said that he looked like Bishop from the X-Men, and he totally does. Idris Elba. At least they're giving him something cool to do. And he looks like he's fighting, actually. Ooh, maybe like a Hela minion, right? Like she's able to create these energy beings or something. That's pretty neat. And she creates them in her own image, like any respectable god. That looks really neat. I love the green energy coursing through them. And so that's certainly a different look for Heimdall, But any movie that gives Idris Elba more to do is, I think, gets another high five from all of us. Now that just Carl Urban there just for a second. He's playing Scourge, aka the Executioner, an Asgardian who in the past usually works with the Enchantress, but I think they're gonna have him. They're gonna loan him out to Hela. So he looks pretty cool. But I mean, there's not much going on here, and I hope they don't underuse Carl Urban. He's a fabulous actor, very good character actor actually. He doesn't look like a character actor, but he is. So this looks like some kind of rebellion, at the Gladiator arena, because those look like those guards. Now look at that. look at the body flip. She's got the sword and she's got the headdress and she's going to take everybody on. Now you'll notice, I think that it's obviously not an accident that her colors look a lot like Loki's. And I think that based on the hints that they've dropped, and I said she looked like a female version of Loki, and I wondered if maybe there was some element to that play, and there is. She's, I think, going to be set up as Loki's mother. So he's half frost giant, half goddess of death. In the comics and in Norse mythology, apparently Loki is the father of Hela, so they're just going to flip it. And I think that's a great choice. And I think that'll give Tom Hiddleston a lot to play with. I've been pretty tough on Tom Hiddleston lately. The whole world has. He didn't get Bond because of his really pretentious, tone-deaf Golden Globes winning speech when he talked about Doctors Without Borders, binge-watching The Night Manager. But he's a great Loki. I always think you should give credit where credit is due, and he's a good Loki. A great Loki. And I think him twirling these blades like this, it's a great shot. It's a really fantastic shot. I wonder who those people are behind him. They seem to be in Asgard here. And I think the switching back and forth from what's going on with the Gladiator arena stuff to Asgard keeps this from seeing also too much like Guardians of the Galaxy. But I don't know if this is maybe the gateway to Hela's domain, or if maybe at this point in the movie he's working with Hela, and those are her guards to some degree. We'll see. And I'm not sure if those people are being held back for their own protection or if they're being herded somewhere. We'll have to see what happens in the movie. But he looks really cool. Now, I like the use of green, the green powder, kind of like, getting everybody ready for their star in the arena here, the Incredible Hulk. And so they're like, get ready for the main attraction. And it's fabulous to do it that way because it really makes you feel like they're talking about the movie itself, right? And so here comes out Thor with his new look. You look great, Thor. Don't feel bad about it. I love it. And this reminds me a lot of a really great Justice League animated episode called Grudge Match, where Roulette got, she is able to brainwash the female members of the Justice League into having to fight each other in an underground fighting ring. And they recently did a play on that. It didn't turn out so well because it was a TV budget on the CW Supergirl. But I think they're totally taking some cues from that here, and it's going to be amazing to see these fights in the arena. And, this is all CGI, but I think they built it. It looks really nice. I think the lighting choices were good so that it didn't look too CGI-y. So he's nervous because, he's got to fight someone, and they're really playing this up well. He's like, okay, I hope this goes well. I have no idea who I'm fighting. This is, they've told me it's a fight to the death, maybe. I like this helmet. I think it's great the way he gets ready to go. He's like, all right, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to represent Asgard. And I like that he says, are you ready for the incredible? The Grandmaster saying the incredible. Now look at this. And I love that Hulk cuts him off. He's like, yeah, I don't need an introduction. Hulk doesn't need an introduction. Hulk smash. And as he does, coming out here. And I agree with you. The CGI on Hulk does not look so great so far. But this is very early days, and I think this was hopefully as ready as it could be to make sure they had the trailer for Fate of the Furious. And it'll look better when the movie actually comes out. So he comes out, and this was the funniest thing ever. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I'm sure you might, if you saw my live reaction, I laughed quite hard at this. Someone had, when I was downloading the trailer, the joke where friends from work had been ruined for me. But I had not anticipated this reaction from Thor. And the reason I loved it so much is because the elation of him being like, I thought I might die, or, really be in trouble here, but I can't believe my luck. I'm fighting my pal. He's not going to fight me. It's just absolutely fantastic. Like, it's just like getting like a reprieve. That's the part of the humor. And I think Chris Hemsworth factors that into his comedic performance. He's a comedian through and through. Joss Whedon understood this, which is why he did the best job with Thor in his movies, which is ironic because being forced to do the Thor hot tub scene is what broke Joss Whedon, at least temporarily, and made him part ways with Marvel. But he always got the true strength of Chris Hemsworth Thor, and that was the comedic aspects. And Taika Waititi, that's why he's such a great choice. They were trying to go Game of Thrones and push him in that direction for a long time, for 2 movies, and it was a mistake. They literally got the Game of Thrones director, Alan Taylor, one of the Game of Thrones directors. But this is, Chris Hemsworth is a comedian. He's really funny. He's like John Hamm in that way. These guys are funny. They have leading man looks, but That's not where their strength lies. And so I'm so happy for Chris Hemsworth that this movie finally fits him. As you guys said, on the third film, I mean, is this the end of the trilogy? Let's just not count those first two and start from here. So he's so happy, and everyone's like, what? We were expecting a bloodbath. And I love this. Now you can see Loki is there, all right? And I love that they're sitting on different sides of this beautiful sofa. What a boss. Who has a white sofa, right? That's why no one else can sit on it, really, because they would stain it, especially with those the crazy makeup everyone's wearing. I love that he has sandals on, too. That's hilarious. Jeff Goldblum's character. He's such a sandals type of guy. But you can see, look at this acting from Tom Hiddleston. There's some face acting for you. He's nervous. I think there's something going on here. I think there's an ulterior motive. I don't know if he knew that Hulk was going to be the combatant and he manipulated it to be that way, Loki did, or maybe this puts a wrench in his plans, what he was thinking to do, and now he's nervous. Also, let's not forget, last time Loki saw Hulk, he used him like a chew toy, right? Like a child's toy. So I'm sure that's also factoring into his reaction as well. Hilarious. So good. All right, so I like the way that look at the end where he looks over like, am I in trouble? What's going to happen here? When he looks at Grandmaster, that's really fantastic. Great acting. That's really, they always say, a lot of acting is reacting. And just because you don't have a line of dialogue doesn't mean that you shouldn't be paying attention and still be in character. And so kudos to Tom Hiddleston for doing that. Now, I love that he's explaining it. That's so Thor. You know, other people would be like, oh, let's put on a good show for them and escape. But he's like, oh, this is great. Let me explain to you. We're pals. Isn't this funny? He's just so happy. I think that he just wants to share the story, let everybody know what a great fun turn of events this is. It's just fantastic. I think it's funny, you know, some people say he's embraced his inner frat boy. I saw one of you write that down, complete with very hairy armpits. That's great. That's a bold choice there. And it's not even full hairy. It's very wispy, you know. I can tell you, ladies aren't huge fans of that. It's not very hygienic. But anyway. All right, so I love that he explains it. And so apparently they did not leave on a good note. Like Bruce Banner or Hulk is like, you're not my friend from work. You're the guy at work who always, you know, takes the last donut. I hate you. It looks like Mark Ruffalo there. I was hoping to see a little bit more performance here. But, you know, this is Thor's movie, and I think they're being respectful there, so that's good. Now look at this. He's like, oh, come on. Are you seriously going to, like, fight me? I love it. But you can see he's not too worried because he knows that Hulk's not going to kill him. Right? But you can see, so he's like, all right, we'll fight. All right? So it's fantastic. But it's more like brothers fighting in the room, like in a room, right? And look at that. That CGI on Hulk is pretty good, actually. That shot's pretty good. I like the teeth. Those teeth are great. I like that Hulk doesn't have perfect teeth. That's fantastic. All right, so he is not happy. And like, look at that. That's a great shot. That's the one I chose for my live reaction thumbnail. It's beautiful. Oh, and that's right before they hit, we go to the title, which is using that really fun, transition as well. And then, that's so much fun. I love the pink. Who would think, pink would be such a great color for Thor? But it really fits well, I think, because he's such a happy, fun guy, right? He's the kind of guy who's like, I'd love to wear, totally like, I'll put on my girlfriend's robe and run around because I'm that manly. I can balance it out. I love it. It's so good. It's really good. It's so good. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this trailer, having it broken down? What do you think of the business aspects? What do you think of it being ready early to compete with Justice League in front of Fate of the Furious? What do you think of the Zack Snyder homages? What do you think of the music choice, etc.? And, getting actors like Cate Blanchett. And also, how she's obviously, I think, going to factor in later on with Thanos. Josh Brolin's as Thanos. Josh Brolin should be practicing his acting right now because Cate Blanchett, as I see it, based on his performance in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, she's going to walk all over him and make him look really bad. So I hope he's practicing right now in the mirror, being like, I got to bring my A+ game because Cate Blanchett is going to, everyone will be like, why is Thanos in here? Let's just have Hela take on the Avengers. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ultimately goes that way in Infinity War Part 2. All right, write your thoughts down below, and you can check out some more videos right now.